Starting recording now.
Hello, Carla. Welcome back. Thank you for
Hi.
coming today.
Oh, thank you for having me. How are you doing today?
Oh, how are you doing? What are some concerns that you want to discuss today?
Um, Honestly, I think I want to address the concerns of my way of thinking. Um, because I'm easily become frustrated at work, and I know last time we discussed some strategies, or we talked about basically my mindset and not, what did we say? Basically, our last session made me decide that I need to change my way of thinking. I had a bad day at work. My coworkers, they really get on my nerves. I try to ignore it and try to be positive, but I find myself texting my boyfriend and complaining about the situation. So
Okay.
I just feel like because I complain a lot, that means I'm negative. That's my mindset right now.
Okay. Well, I don't know if complaining really helps because complaining, I never thought complaining can help other people or the
Hmm.
person that's complaining.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and sometimes I think like that, but I'm I feel better when I vent about what's on my mind. I noticed that about myself undergraduate when I was in undergraduate school, but during undergrad, if I hold it in, then it pretty much ruins my day. Um, if I talk about it, I'm able to move on. Like I used to move on and not worry about it. But now I find myself complaining and focusing on it. Not for the rest of the day, but maybe like 15 to 20 minutes out of my day, and I don't want it to affect me that much. Um, and I feel like maybe it's like that due to the people that I complain to. Like if I complain to my boyfriend, he'll listen, and then like we move on to the next subject. But um, some of, like if I complain to some of my office mates, like they might amp me up, which makes me even more upset. And then I get irritated at myself for allowing them to amp me up. And then I also get irritated at them because I'm like, why didn't you encourage me to think more positive? When in actuality, it's my fault.
Well, s- you know, what is it that you complain about, or what is it that you um, think you can accomplish by complaining? You said that you complain because it helps you vent,
Hmm.
but has this venting, because every behavior, if it's rewarding, we
Hmm.
repeat it, and
Yeah.
if it's not rewarding, usually we try to stay away from it.
Hmm.
So is this behavior rewarding you personally, and is it rewarding you with your relationship with your coworkers?
Um. Yes, I think it's rewarding me in a negative way, if that makes sense. Like, okay, if I vent to my boyfriend, it's like it is what it is. Let's move on with the conversation. It helps me feel better, or I realize that I'm nagging, and I'm like, hey, I need to chill out. Let's change the subject, or I feel better because I expressed it and I got it off my mind. With my coworkers, it's a cycle. It repeats because I get irritated, and then like sometimes I'll become upset if, like, I don't know. It's hmm. It is repeating itself. I would say that, and it's like I do it, and then I complain for like 10 or 15 to 20 minutes, and it's like okay, whatever. But I think I vent about it to them because either they see it or they're around, or because in the moment, for example, if I get mad at another coworker, um, If I get mad at another coworker and it's right there in the moment, instead of me being unprofessional and honestly, I can address the situation. I can make this clear. I can talk to someone and express my concerns and be professional at the same time, not passive aggressive. Like, hey, you offended me when you did this, blah blah blah. But I feel like in a work field, you shouldn't do that often. You shouldn't because it's like they irritate me all the time. So it's like some things I feel like it's not worth addressing. So that's why I went to the coworkers that I like instead of the coworkers I dislike, and then we feed off each other. So I know I'm going in circles, but I guess it is rewarding, but like a negative reward, if that makes sense, when I vent to them because I know they don't like those coworkers either. So, and then I also feel safe because I know what I say to them, it stays between us, and I don't have to worry about gossip or drama in my work environment because they won't say anything.
Okay. So what do you think could be a way that you because in order for you to stop complaining,
Mhm.
it's like, what we call it, picking on people. Because when
Mhm.
you complain, you're just finding what's wrong with people and complaining about it,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mhm.
like have you have assigned yourself the role of a supervisor on everybody and saying, right? Because that's, complaining
Mhm.
about this. So if you were going to think of a way that you can stop complaining, wouldn't you think that instead of complaining, if you come with a solution,
Mhm.
then maybe that will help? Like, instead of being the complainer initiator, you can be
Mhm.
the solution initiator, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, I ran a huge practice. I had about 75 doctors. And I
Mhm.
always used to say, don't come to me with the problem. And I actually had something on my desk that says no nagging. And don't
Mhm.
come to me with the problem. Come to me with the solution because I will
Mhm.
listen.
Mhm.
So I think to move forward, you can not add, it's not that you have to stop looking at what's not going right. Um, it's part of your analytical way of being. And I don't think you're doing it just to criticize. You're doing it
Mhm.
because you're authentic and you want things to be done the right way.
Mhm.
But you by just complaining, you're not actually accomplishing anything. You're just going in
Mhm.
circles, aggravating yourself, aggravating people around you, and creating like a team. The
Mhm.
people that agree with the complainers, and the
Mhm.
people who don't agree with the complainers.
Mhm.
And when you have adversity like this, that won't create solution. It
Mhm.
creates animosity and more complaining,
Mhm.
right? It's just a vicious cycle. So it doesn't
Mhm.
work like that. The way it has to work is, okay, I see there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Okay, this is what it is. So what is it that I can do myself or enlist people to do with me that can help the situation get better? And
Mhm.
then let me go to my boss with this, with the problem, but with the solution. I don't know of any boss that, well, we're talking about a boss that is, that's supposed to be
Mhm.
there. So that will not respect somebody who comes to him with the problem and the solution. I
Mhm.
think to me, I've always looked at it as like, wow, you know,
Mhm.
she got it. She sees what the problem is, but she didn't just come here to tell me about it. There
Mhm.
she is. She has narrated a solution for it. And for that, that's double effort.
Mhm.
So maybe you should start thinking about yourself, not a problem picker, but a problem solver in a
See,
way.
and that's what I do. Like, so there's staff that irritate me because I feel like they're lazy and stuff, and I am the problem solver with that. Like, hey, and I don't really, if I complain, it's to my boyfriend, but like I'll tell them like, hey, For example, you didn't watch a resident when they did this. Um, they can run across the street, they can elope, or let's say it's a crisis. And I think I do well with the solution part that way. I don't go to my boss often. Well, I don't ever go to her with drama because that's just unprofessional, and to me it's stupid. Um, but like as far as like, so there's a clinical team, and I'm the youngest one on there, and um I just feel like they don't think as that I'm as smart as I am. Well, they realize it, but they try to prove me wrong, or they say things to offend me, and like they're passive aggressive with things, and it's irritating. So I think the problem comes in is like in the moment it don't irritate me. It's like whatever, like I'm not engaging in this. I'm gonna focus on my job because that's what I'm here to do. But then later on, like I'll talk with my office mate and then one of my friends who work there, and we'll talk about it. So it's maybe listening to them. So maybe if I don't listen to them, or I'll change the subject, like, hey, I don't really want to talk about that because it's gonna upset me. Which I have told them in the past, and one of them respects it, but my office mate, she doesn't at all. So I guess that's one way I could be a problem solver. Like, hey, I don't want to hear this right now because it really gets to me, and I can ignore stuff for so long. But I'm one of the people that I like to solve issues. So like, hey, it's rocky right now. Let's fix this so we won't have this problem in the future. But
Do you find yourself doing other people's jobs sometimes?
all the time,
Okay,
yes.
well, I think this is what the problem is that, you know, in life the problem is that you have to be you have to be a helper but not a rescuer,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
So you can help as much, but you become a rescuer when you start doing other people's jobs.
Yeah.
And that's not what you're there for. That's
Mhm.
not helping anybody. It's not helping them, not helping yourself, it's not helping the client because you can't do
Mhm.
two jobs at the same time.
Right.
So I think these are the main thing that you have to see is creating boundaries and saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to address the problem. I'm going to tell them how it's supposed to. I can probably maybe they don't know the know-how of how to do it, or
Mhm.
maybe they're, as I told you on the last session, not everybody has the same level of motivation,
Mhm.
and people are motivated in different ways,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
some people are only motivated by money. Some
Mhm.
people are motivated by the return of what they see happens to the patients, and that motivates them, that
Mhm.
the patient's getting better, right? Some people only get motivated if they hear positive feedback from their supervisors, right? And
Mhm.
they give them whatever, a medal. Look at you, look that up. So everybody is motivated differently.
Mhm.
You can be motivated by your mission, but not everybody's like that. So a lot of
Mhm.
people, I've heard a lot of people that said many times to me, well, I'm just here to kill time, you
Mhm.
know, and to collect my retirement or something like that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, we had a person in our lab that we used to call him shovel because he just was there just to shovel his legs the whole day and pay and get paid. So you have to you have to also consider that some people it's just not in them, or the environment they're in, the corporation, the culture of the corporation is not for them.
Mhm.
Not everybody can work at Coca-Cola. Not
Mhm.
everybody can work, it's at Google. There's a culture that belongs to some people, it doesn't belong to others. So you
Mhm.
can do what you can, but at a certain point you have to draw the line and
Mhm.
say they will get eliminated on their own,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
So That's what I think.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think if I remind myself that, then I won't get as upset or disappointed, because when I hear that, it's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, okay. Like, there's no reason to get upset. So I think if I have that mindset, and if I feel myself becoming upset over something a coworker did, I can remind myself of that. Like, okay, no one has, the same drive as I have. Well, some people might not have the same drive that I have, and that's okay. But I can't um, burn myself out by stepping up and becoming a rescuer. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think for maybe the next session, what what would be a good plan is to just have an awareness of when you complain and you say to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, is that falling on deaf ear?
Mm-hmm.
Is that serving my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
or is it just aggravating me?
Okay.
And if it is, then maybe I just shouldn't do it, because also complaining is a habit,
Mm-hmm.
that feeds itself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And not complaining is not good either. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a complainer at all,
Mm-hmm.
like at all.
Mm-hmm.
And because maybe it's from my background and where I come from, like, we just, you just don't complain, you just don't do it, right? That is not good too, because then your voice is not heard. And but there's a borderline where today I catch myself, if I don't like something, I just say it, I
Mm-hmm.
state it, and then I move on of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know but it seemed to me that you are in an environment where you don't feel appreciated, and I think you are in an environment where you feel that that somebody wants to demean you in a way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, they don't think you know enough or
Yeah.
whatever. So your way of complaining is a way of telling them, see,
See?
this has been done wrong, and I think it should be done this way. So it's like proving yourself to them. And what you have to understand is that you don't have to prove yourself to them. You know you're good. You know your heart and soul is into this. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need their approval
That's true.
to feel validated. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And
Yeah.
if you get that very early in life, to self-validate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that's like the biggest gift anybody. You don't need anybody to tell you this or to tell you that. You're
Mm-hmm.
going with your intuition and your heart is in the right place. That is more than good enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's nor you understand? That's
Yes.
more than good enough. Even if you don't have the right skills, if your intentions and your heart is in the right place, it will come with practice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to prove to these people anything. And I'm telling you that because I was in that position where I had to prove to people, where I first came to this country, where I didn't even speak good English, and I had to prove myself to a lot of people. You don't have to prove yourself to nobody other than yourself. As long as in the morning you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what, I did the best that I could yesterday. That's what matters,
Mm-hmm.
right? and
Yeah.
and and what I see from you is that you are that person that gives it.
Mm-hmm.
You are all out, like you are all out for this patient.
Mm-hmm.
And if these people don't have anything positive to contribute to your growth,
Mm-hmm.
then don't even complain about them. It's not even worth complaining about them. It's not going to add anything to you, right? Not even making you feel better, because when you talk about something that bothers you, it takes you down.
Yeah.
It actually takes you down, because it's taking part. I always tell my kids, you wake up in the morning and this whatever pot is empty, and you decide what you want to put in it that day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you half of it is just it being built on complaining about people,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good thing. You are cheating yourself, not them.
Mhm.
of the time that you could be thinking of other stuff that are better for you,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Maybe reading 2, 3 pages of something that you like to read about, a subject that you like to read about, that will get them, because that job you have is not forever.
Yeah.
And you're just there for a certain time, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I always assess the situation for what it is right now.
Mhm.
But what this situation is here to teach me, what's the purpose of this situation? It's
Mhm.
here to teach me this, that, the other, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm learning it and I'm moving on because I have a higher purpose,
Yeah.
right? I don't get stuck on the little details, right? Even,
Mhm.
women, when let's say you're married and then you get divorced and women get stuck on it. No, listen, this man was in your life to teach you something. He did
Mhm.
it. His purpose, be thankful, say thank you, Jesus, that you put
Mhm.
this guy who was horrible in my path for me
Mhm.
to learn this, that, and the other. And
Yes.
now I'm moving on. And those people are in your path. Everybody that comes in your path is there to teach you something. I'm a believer. Like, I believe
Mhm.
God is everything to me. So
Mhm.
there is nothing that's not in his architecture of where your mission is going. And you will only go towards your mission if your intentions, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be anything. You only have to have your heart in the right place to receive his grace. To me, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Right? If you have the right intention, don't worry. All these people are there to teach you what you need to do to get there and
Mhm.
follow the plan he has for you. All you need is good intentions. That's it. That's the only thing that he understands, is
Mhm.
somebody with good intentions. And then watch him put the good and the bad in front of you to help you get to where you need to be. So that's how you have to look at it.
I agree.
They are
I
just there to teach me something. Let me learn from them. I need to stop nagging and
Mhm.
learn from them the lesson that I'm supposed to learn,
Mhm.
right? And move on.
I
It's
agree.
simple.
I agree. That will put me in a way more positive mindset. Um. So
That's the way I look at it.
I think I should look at it that way too.
So I hope I was helpful
Mhm.
today. And now that our session is going to the end, is there anything else that I can help you with?
No, thank you.
All right, Carla. See you next time.
See you. Have a great night.
Thank you.